I don't see what department, in any department, AJ is a better fighter than Tyson. The scoring was a bit crazy, wasn't it? And for once, Eddie Hearn and I agree on something. You know, he genuinely, and I say this not lightly, he reminds me of a young Cacace.
Hiya, Frank. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm okay, Chris. What about you, mate?
Yeah, I'm fine. You on the mend now?
Much better than I was, yeah. Yeah, all okay. Getting there.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. I mean, I'm glad, and I suppose you are, to be talking about boxing rather than sort of health issues. So I'm glad.
About COVID, yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I'm delighted we got a show on this week, first show this year. But we're going to be busy from then on. We've got 2 in March, a couple in April, and a couple in May. All good shows.
Okay, before we get into the fights, there's a couple of new names in the camp. Can you just talk us through them and what they're going to bring to the table?
Yeah, we signed Zach Parker, who's ranked #1 in the WBO, and he's mandatory to Billy Joe Saunders. He signed with us, done a deal with his manager, Neil Marsh, so we're delighted to have him on board. Looking forward to seeing him in action. We hope to get him out sometime at the end of April, early May. As you know, we've already announced Callum Johnson, so it's good addition to our light heavyweight scene that we've got going. And with Lyndon Arthur, Anthony Yard, and across the road they've got Buatsi, we can hopefully make some good fights between us all.
Okay, well, let's go back to this week. I mean, obviously, slight change of plan because Carl pulled out. Just for anyone who doesn't know, can you just explain what happened there?
He was injured. He picked up an injury. He went to his doctor, and the doctor advised him not to fight. He said he did it last time, went against the doctor's wishes. I can't remember who it was against, but he wasn't pleased with his performance. And he said this is like could be the last hurrah for him. So he's got to make sure that he's 100%. So he won't. Obviously, he's out, and it's being rescheduled.
We've still got some great headline fight though. Cacace Woodstock. That's a tasty little number, that one.
It is. I mean, it's. We always say it's a crossroads fight for one of them. But for Cacace, if he wants to get on, and he shows some great promise, doesn't he? He's done well to win the title. If he wants to move forward, he's got to do a job. And for Lyon, I mean, this is a fight where he can't afford to lose, because if he does lose it, it's going to make, it's going to really limit where he can move forward as a top contender. So he's got it all to do. He obviously fancies a job, and I think fights like that always bring out the best of them. So I think the viewers will be in for a treat with that one.
Yeah, I mean, he lost a couple of fights, didn't he? Woodstock to Archie Sharp and Zelfa Barrett, but you can't say he's ever been in a non-entertaining fight.
It comes to fight. There's no doubt about that. That's why I fancy this to be a good fight between the two of them.
Excellent. And for the winner of that fight, I mean, okay, let's for argument's sake say Cacace comes through. I mean, how do you see his progress after that?
Well, I think whoever comes through got a crack at the European and just move them up. Just keep moving them up, put them in fights to get them to a situation where hopefully they're challenge for a world title. For Lyon, I'm sure if he comes through, there's a couple of fights for him to make as revenge matches. Those couple of losses you mentioned, they would be great return fights, with a title on the line. So, they both got it to do. They both know what's on the line, and hopefully we'll see something really, really good on Saturday from the both of them, and then they'll move forward. Whoever wins will move forward, and we'll make them move forward very quickly. Yeah,
because we talked. You said possible revenge matches there. Zelfa Barrett was out, a couple of weeks ago, and bit of an outcry at the decision, shall we say there?
Yeah, there was. I mean, the scoring was a bit crazy, wasn't it? And for once, Eddie Hearn and I agree on something. It does make it different. Well, it was, wasn't it? Let's get it right. It was poor scoring. But anyway, it is what it is, and it's that's past it. I mean, all I care about is what our guys are doing on Saturday, and hopefully, as I say, we'll see something that's going to be judged correctly, or may not even need a judge. Depends what the outcome's going to be.
Of course. Now, on the same bill, Tommy Fury, looking to make it 5-0. Yeah, he's. I mean, it's fair to say you're probably easing him in at the start, but great potential there.
Oh, there is, Chris, a lot of potential of him. He's well, look, we all know where he comes from. His background as was he fought when he was younger, but then he went into as a reality TV program, and he'd done extremely well. And as a result of that, more people know him for that than they do for being a boxer. But he is a novice. He's had 5 fights. He's still a novice. He's still got a long way to go, but he's looking so promising. And he's obviously very, very dedicated. You only got to look at him. He's fit, keeps himself well. His dad is doing a great job with him. And I just feel that I think he's got a really good future ahead of him, but we've got to keep him busy. And, in this business, you're either a boxer or you're not. You can't be a boxer and a reality TV show star. You can't be a boxer and doing something else. You've got to be on it. If you want to get to the very, very top, you've got to be on it and dedicate your whole life to it. And that's what he's decided to do. So I'm really pleased for him. And I hope, this time next year, he's fighting for a title.
Also on that card, we've got another tasty-looking fight, a European Super Flyweight bout between Cacace and Ahmed. Talk us through that one.
Well, he's supposed to have fought last, when was it, Cacace? Last November, but he tested positive for COVID. So it got pushed back. He's in case you don't know his background, he was 8 years of age when his family fled Afghanistan from the Taliban. And he's settled down here and he's done a brilliant job. And within 8 fights, he's the WBO European champion. He's in with Ahmed, who's no slouch himself. So I think we're going to get a really good fight, a good cracking little fight with a pair of them. Again, a lot on the line, But Casey, he's in a hurry. He's really in a hurry to get to the top as soon as he can. So let's see how he looks on Saturday. We'll make some decisions if he comes through okay. We'll make some decisions how quickly we push him.
Okay, yeah, and just a couple of others to mention on that card. We've got Heaney and Oliver, Noakes and Thomas. Again, could be quite interesting, those two.
Do you know what? It's a good fight. It is a good fight. There's no doubt about it. The shame for me as a promoter is that Nathan's such a big ticket seller. When we done that show up in, I think it's in Stoke on BT, and the place was jumping. He sells a lot of tickets. The atmosphere is great. It's a shame we're going to lose all that. Obviously, we can't because of this bloody pandemic. But in the meantime, he's got to stay busy. He's fighting Ryan Olver, and I think that's going to be it's a good little fight. It's a good little trade fight. So let's see what happens. Yeah.
So basically, there's a lot of reasons why people should tune in on Saturday night.
They're well-matched fights. Ken. You've got Sam Noakes and Delmar Thomas. Again, two really, really, good youngsters. One's 4-0, one's 5-0. So they're putting it on the line very early in their career. So, they're both very, very competitive, and I'm really looking forward to that. Sam's done brilliantly. Alan Smith's done a fantastic job with him up to as yet. And he just wants to be busy, and he's quite exciting to watch. And I think we got him in a good fight. I think it's a good little fight to watch.
Today's also the anniversary of Wilder Fury 2. What a night that was.
Where did that go? Years gone. Lots happening that year. Yeah, it is. What an exciting night. Probably one of my his fight before and that fight and the fight a year ago were two of the most exciting fights in my career as a promoter, and it was fabulous what he did, Tyson, getting on the 23rd. He went into that fight as an underdog on a lot of people's who picked him as underdog and really fancied Wilder to beat him. And he went in there and absolutely done a job on him. He didn't beat him. He just absolutely took him apart and destroyed him. Yeah,
and there's been some, since then and even up to a few weeks ago, there's a lot of different noises coming out of Wilder's camp. They sacked Breland, and now he's been accused of all sorts of things, and the suit was too heavy. What do you make of all that?
Well, he actually went down a little bit in my estimation, Deontay. I quite liked him, but the excuses that's been regularly put out, all shoes and gloves and God knows what, all the different things. It's just stupid. And, you got the best man won on the night. The best man won the first fight and didn't get the result, but he certainly showed everybody in the second fight that, that he had his number. And it's pretty daft and silly of Deontay. He's making a bit of a fool of himself. And when you look at what he said about Mark Breland, he should really go and kiss Mark Brenner's backside because he saved him. You know, that's what cornermen are there for, to protect your fighter at all times. And that's what he did. He stopped him getting he was getting a belting, but he stopped him getting a terrible shellacking.
Yeah, no, I think most people would agree with that. And at the time, you know, a couple of days later, it was all about Wilder Fury. Wilder Fury 3. That's out the window now. Wilder Fury Joshua. What's that looking like at the moment?
That's all. I mean, if it goes on, it won't go on till summer for obvious reasons because we want the crowds back in. But that's it. And as I say, you know, we all said that we would wait till it's done. You know, keep quiet. We don't want to sort of say anything that stops it or upset someone so they don't want to fight, something like that. So that's where we are. Okay.
Well, you just said the Fury Wilder fights were two of the best fight nights of your career. Fury Joshua could even surpass that.
Yeah, I mean, I look on that fight. Look, AJ's going to be really up for it. He's going to have to be up for it because he's fighting the #1 heavyweight in the world. And for Tyson, you know, I don't see what AJ's got that I don't see what department in any department AJ is a better fighter than Tyson. I think he beats him in every department. I think he's got a better jab than him. I think he's a better boxer. He's got better movement. He's faster. I think he's got a better chin. Punch-wise, they're both big punchers. And that's it. So I think I could see Tyson doing to AJ what he did to Wilder in the second fight.
And rematch clause permitting, the winner of Joyce-Usyk is due to fight the winner of so many names here, the winner of Fury and Joshua. How's negotiations on that one going?
We're still negotiating at the moment, and we'll see what happens. But you know, there's still a ways to go. The good thing is they're in good positions. They're in a very good position at the moment.
Yeah, and there was talk of possible purse bids for that. Do we know anything on that?
Well, we'll see how the negotiations go, and then we'll make a decision.
Okay, well, we'll stay with the heavyweights. Daniel Dubois, obviously, got a really bad injury last time out. Thankfully, he seems to be on the mend. I've seen pictures of him training. He's also got a new trainer, which I don't think many of us saw coming.
No, nor did I. He got the all clear next week. I understand that his manager, Martin Bowers, is meeting this week with one of the people who've been named as maybe being his trainer, and see how that goes. In the meantime, the good thing is he's got the all clear and it'll enable him to hopefully get out sometime in May. He's been very positive when I've spoken to him, very, very positive. Can't get back in there, and he's been quite philosophical about it. So hopefully, I think it's something that you know that it could be really good for him. You know, he'll learn from it, and it's taken a bit of pressure off him in some ways.
Another good fight coming up: Liam Williams against Andrade. I mean, I know the I's haven't been dotted and the T's crossed yet, but it's looking like that's going to happen. Oh,
it's going to happen. We've agreed terms, and it's going to happen. It'll probably happen sometime in. I hope it'll go on in April. But Liam's chomping at the bit. I just want to get him in there. You know, I was determined that he would just get him in the ring. I'm determined that I really do think it's his time. And if he's ever going to win that world title, now is the time. He's developed a fantastic relationship with Dominic Ingle up in Sheffield. He looks a different fighter since he's been with him, and he certainly looks a different fighter since he's gone up in weight. And he just looks so confident, absolutely confident, and showing all those skills and showing everything that I expected him when I signed him all those years ago.
And Willie Hutchinson, I know, is going to be at March the 27th, isn't he?
He's out in March, yeah. He's a cracking talent. I think he's one of the best out there. And, you know, he genuinely, and I say this not lightly, he reminds me of a young Kawasaki.
Wow.
He's a good fighter. I'm telling you, he's one of our best prospects.
Well, I spoke to Shirley Finkel the other day, and he's his manager, obviously. And it's not very often you get a Hall of Famer involved with a kid that many outside of boxing circles haven't heard of.
He's got 2 Hall of Famers on his team, so he'll be a future Hall of Famer if he does what we think he's capable of doing.
Wow, that's high praise indeed, mate. Yeah. I mean, it's like you say, it's a good fight coming up though. He's no slouch, is he? But you don't think he's going to have any problems with that one?
It's not about having problems. I mean, the other fella's got a good record, hasn't he? You know, he comes to fight. I think he's going to be, you know, and it's an opportunity. And as we've seen in a lot of these fights now, you know, you're fighting in neutral venues as such. There's no home fighter anymore, whilst there's no crowds there. And it's changed the dynamic in some of these fights that you watch them, and it's, you know, how it pans out is a bit different than what you'd expect. But I think from Willie's point of view, I just think he's a class act. I think he throws tremendous shots, you know, great variety, and he's only going to get better and better.
Great stuff. Okay. Dennis McCann, David Adelaide, Denzel Bentley, Hamza Shiraz. They are lump all those guys together.
There you go. That's not bad. That's not a bad little lot to be getting on with. This, no. You know, Dennis the Menace is like, he's just going from strength to strength. I think he'll fight for a title this year. I've said from day one what I think of him. I mean, he's a precocious talent, no doubt about that. David Adelaide's going to learn his trade and doing what he's doing, which is not going to be rushed. He wants to be rushed, but he's not going to be rushed. But we'll bring him through, and I think, you know, he's been getting tremendous sparring. He's sparred with all the world champions now. You know, he gets at it, so he's learning, and he's very diligent in that side of it. You know, he's training and so forth. So for me, I think, you know, years' time, he'll be fighting for a title, no doubt about that. Hamza's a class act as well. I mean, he's like a freak of nature, isn't he? Big, tall, rangy guy, and I like him. I like watching him. I think he's a tremendous, tremendous fighter. You know, these guys are all great, great, great prospects, and, you know, will go places. And Denzel, look what Denzel's done. I mean, he's got to be one of the most improved fighters in the country. You know where he is now. We won the purse bid for Cash, so I hope that Cash shows up on the night, because we paid a lot of cash for the fight. So please God, he'll be there. And again, for the fans, it's a cracking fight. But I think Denzel's, you know, he's done everything that's been asked of him, everything that's been asked of him and more.
Okay, just before we go, we've mentioned fans a few times tonight. When are you hoping that you will be able to see, even if it's like a sprinkling, if you like, of fans back in the arenas?
I think we may get a sprinkling in sometime in May. We may get a sprinkling. But I think for any mass gatherings, we'd be lucky if we get it done by August.
Well, fingers crossed, mate. I mean, obviously, you know, everyone's health is a paramount importance.
It's paramount, yeah.
But, you know, fingers crossed, because that would be a sign that things are starting to return to normal at last.
No, so that's what everyone needs. We keep banging on about being safe. Get out, go and get the jab. I had mine done the weekend. Just go and get the jab, because it's important. And the sooner everybody gets inoculated, the quicker we can get back to some sort of normality. If we don't do it, then we're not going to get back to normality, and it's no good crying about it. You're going to have to do it. It's the only way it's going to work. It's like we had to do with years ago with polio vaccination when I was a kid, and, you know, smallpox. I ran a smallpox vaccination when I was a kid. So, you know, it's what you got to have done.
Wise words, mate. Okay, take care, Frank. See you soon.
Cheers, Chris. You look after yourself. See you soon, mate.